Well, hello, good afternoon. My name is Allison Killen. I'm the Director of Civic Art at Houston Arts Alliance. Thank you all for joining today. This is for the information session number 1 for the Southwest Airlines at Hobby Airport West Concourse Expansion Request for Acquisitions project. I know that's a mouthful, a lot of information. This is for the RFA. For Texas artists and Texas galleries representing Texas-based artists. And so thank you all for joining today. I'm going to be going over some information about this opportunity and sharing a little bit more about the process. We'll have time for questions at the end. I have 2 people from the HAA Civic Art team on this call that will be helping me monitor the chat, answer questions, and manage anything on the back end. If you need anything during this session, go ahead and reach out to them. I have Mati Yepes. She is the project manager on this project and will be helping you all through this process. And then I also have Xavier Lopez. He's another project manager here with us at HAA. The 2 of them will be doing all of the back end stuff for us. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. I also want to introduce Alton Dulaney, who is here from the Houston airports, representing airports, and I'll give him a moment to introduce himself. Alton, if you want to say anything, and then I can let you do your intro spiel during the presentation.
Thank you, Allison. I'll just say hello and it's so nice to see such a good turnout today. I'm looking forward to seeing all your submissions and hopefully getting some great art for the Southwest expansion over at Hobby Airport. And I'll talk a little more when we get to the airport portion, Allison. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I will ask just one more time if you all can stay muted through this initial part of the presentation. We'll have plenty of time for questions at the end, and then you can feel free to drop them in the chat or just raise your hand when we get to that point. Otherwise, I'm going to share my screen. This is recorded and it will be posted online, so you will be able to access it later. Don't feel like this is a one-time opportunity. This will be available after the meeting for you all. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome in. Again, this is for the request for acquisitions at William P. Hobby Airport, part of the West Concourse expansion there, underway with Southwest Airlines. And this is for what we call portable works, which are artworks that are movable. They're not integrated into the site and typically smaller in scale and able to be moved from place to place. I'm with the Civic Art Division here at Houston Arts Alliance. Houston Arts Alliance is an independent nonprofit that strengthens Houston's creative ecosystem through programs supported by private, philanthropic, and public partners. As Houston's local arts agency, we partner with the City of Houston on key public programs while also delivering privately and philanthropically supported initiatives that serve the broader creative ecosystem. This includes administering arts grants, which many of you may know us for, but also commissioning and caring for public art, such as this opportunity, leading cultural planning, and supporting resilience and recovery that strengthen Houston's creative community. HAA is not a policymaker, and we do not make subjective funding decisions. We administer, support, and amplify, ensuring that public and private funds are distributed through fair, transparent processes guided by community panels and strategic oversight. And all of our work shares a single purpose, which is to ensure creativity in Houston is resourced, resilient, and reflective of the community that it serves. Alton, I'll turn it over to you to share a little bit more about Houston airports.
Thank you, Allison. Again, my name is Alton Dulaney. I'm the Chief Curator of the Public Art Program at the Houston Airports, the award-winning public art program currently rated the best airport art program in the world for the 4th year in a row by Skytrax, which is an international auditing firm. The airports in Houston have close to 400 works of art. After this call, we'll have over 400 works of art, making it one of the largest airport art collections in the aviation industry. We also have one of the longest running airport artist in residence programs and a number of other programs that really set us aside and above other airport art programs. As Allison said, this is for the Southwest Airlines, who is our partner at Hobby Airport expansion program. We're expanding that West Concourse, putting in 7 new gates and 6 of them, which will be controlled by Southwest. And we have a robust art program for that, including 9 site-specific commission works, and then this call today, which is for portable works. When we get to the location, I'll elaborate on that a little more, but again, we're very excited to see all of you. The collection over there is really Texas-based, predominantly Houston, or we call it regional artists, the greater Houston area, but Texas artists as well. And in general, about 94% of the collection at the airport is Texas artists. So we really like that sense of place that the art program gives to our airports. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Alton. So as Alton mentioned, I'm going to go over the entire project for this location specifically. So this opportunity is requesting portable works acquisitions for initial placement and primary placement in these 2 artwork vitrines that you see pictured here on the left of this image. This location is situated on the way to baggage claim from the main terminal. And so as passengers make their way from gates to the baggage claim and to the airport exit, this corridor provides opportunities for 2 art glass protected display cases. So that's where the artwork will be sited. We are looking for a variety of artworks to fill these spaces. They are 4 feet by 8 feet each. So 2 of those opportunities divided by that column in the center. As Alton mentioned, the inspiration is Space City, which connects with some celestial designs in the adjacent baggage claim hall and exterior passenger canopy. However, we really do want to foster the sense of place. You see the Welcome to Houston graphic there at the end. So really artwork that features Texas, speaks to Houston, speaks to Houston's cultural and artistic expression, and with ties to Space City as appropriate. The total budget for this location is $215,000, again, for a variety of artwork acquisitions. And so we want to keep any submissions under that budget criteria, ideally well under, because we are looking to source multiple artworks, not just one. So I will go ahead and move on to the next slide, unless Alton, do you have anything to add for this initial?
Well, yes, thank you, Allison. I just want to let everyone know that this is the main area that we're looking to fill because this is part of the new construction. But as is the nature of portable works, the work that we purchase in this call does have the potential to be in other locations within Hobby Airport. So again, there is a 7 gate concourse, a new pier with lots of room, lots of walls. So as well as we already have a very robust portrait gallery in this area. So if any of these works fell into the portraiture category that we purchased, we might consider that, putting them there. So again, although this is the primary location we're considering, they are portable works and they could potentially be curated anywhere within the airport as portable works are. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you. So some additional information about this site. On the right-hand side, you'll see an image of a cross-section of what that display cabinet might look like. The cutout, it will have some depth to it, about 2 feet or so, but we want artworks to be smaller than that so that they fit within that space if they are 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional with an element of projection. And so you'll see that space there. We ask for 2-dimensional artwork to be wall mounted within this vitrine. They should not exceed a height of 40 inches or a width of 72 inches to, again, make space for other artworks to be grouped within there. 3-dimensional artworks can be wall mounted or applicable, be mounted on some sort of stand or a pedestal or accompanying display element. These artworks should also not exceed 40 inches or a depth of 24 inches to stay within that vitrine space. A big question we have been getting so far, does your artwork need to be framed? Yes, we are asking for any artwork submitted during this opportunity to be coming to us, included in the submission, framed with installation hardware, ready to go, ready to hang. We want to be able to have the artwork delivered and then just install it right in the space. That is the goal. We will not be considering artworks that are coming to us requiring any sort of framing, additional hardware, or additional display, I can't think of the word, but like a pedestal or shelf or something. If your artwork requires that, we ask that you submit that detail with the artwork that you're submitting. There is a link here, and you'll be able to access that on the RFA document and on our website to see additional site plans and images if you'd like to. I also included this walls elevation to show again what these two vitrines will look like just in the space. You'll see the sizes here. This is what they'll look like when they're constructed. And so what are the project requirements for this opportunity? We ask that the artworks are installation ready and completed before December 31st, 2025. The reasoning for this is, again, we are asking the artworks to be framed, installation ready, completed. We don't want any proposals, works in progress, works that have been in the studio unframed. We hope that the artwork is completed, ready to install. And so we ask for that cutoff just as a cautionary contingency there, but that is the requirement. The artworks must be family friendly, suitable for public display, and free of safety hazards. So again, as our Alton mentioned, sometimes the artwork is portable and may be relocated to other areas. And so we want to make sure that there's no sharp corners, things that might give people an injury or the opportunity to really interact with it in a way that's not public friendly, family friendly, that sort of thing. We also ask that for that reason that the artworks meet or exceed the City of Houston's ADA requirements. Those are also listed on the Houston Arts Alliance website, and so if you need to reference those, they're available there. The artwork should be resistant to graffiti and vandalism and require minimal maintenance. So again, we want them to be either framed or installation ready. If they're three-dimensional and coated with some sort of anti-graffiti coating or appropriate measures in a display case, whatever that may look like, to prevent people from damaging or vandalizing the artwork in any way as it is displayed within a public space and setting. The artwork must have an expected lifespan of 20 years, and it should make a significant artistic addition to the City of Houston civic art collection. And so with those requirements in mind, I'll go ahead and move on to the eligibility. As I mentioned at the top, this artwork opportunity is for all Texas artists and Texas galleries representing Texas artists who are over the 18 years of age and have works that are available by the deadline. We define Texas-based for this opportunity as artists who are born in the state of Texas or currently residing within the state of Texas. Galleries and artists must have completed their submitted work by December 31st, 2025. And just to give some more information to galleries who might be applying on behalf of artists. So again, if the artist you're applying on behalf of is from the state of Texas, working in the state of Texas, born in the state of Texas, that is eligible. We do welcome those submissions. If you are a Texas-based gallery, but your artist may be located outside of Texas, either residing, not born in Texas, doesn't really have any Texas ties, we are marking those submissions as ineligible for this opportunity. We are accepting submissions individually, so we ask one artist, one artwork, that's one submission. If multiple artists or multiple artworks are included on the same application, the submission will be marked as ineligible. That's for our panelists to be able to fully understand each submission individually and be able to score them accordingly. Artists not eligible to apply are those who are currently under contract with the City of Houston and HAA for a civic art project, any City of Houston employees, any elected city officials, Mayor's Office of the Arts employees and their immediate family, any Houston Arts Alliance employees, board members, advisory board members, and their immediate family, and any applications that do not meet all eligibility criteria or application requirements will be withdrawn from consideration. So the application requirements, we ask for a CV of each artist with a maximum of 3 pages. So we have the panelists the opportunity to get to know you a little bit, your work a little bit. Additionally, an artist biography, you can submit this in a text or a under 3-minute recording of your artist biography if it's easier for you to talk through it. We also ask for an artist statement. This artist statement is a written description of your work, your body of work that helps the audience and panelists understand the artistic work. It's to inform, add context, and present processes and conceptual ideas to the viewer, including any sources, ideas, or materials that you're incorporating into your practice. And lastly, the big one, we ask for digital images of completed artworks. You can submit up to 3 images in a JPEG format no larger than 2 megabytes so that they load on our platform. And we are allowing one short video submission to give a sense of the artwork in the round, no longer than 30 seconds. One video submission per artwork. We don't want 3 30-second videos. Just one video will be accepted. And each image and submission should include the artist's name, the title, the year completed, the artwork dimensions, the material, and of course the price. So on the right-hand side, you'll see a QR code that will take you to our website where you can apply and enter your submissions via Submittable. That is the only place we will accept submissions. So if you email them, fax them to us, send them to us on a carrier pigeon, they will not be considered for acquisition and you will be redirected to Submittable. And so please, please, please make sure you're submitting your submissions there. That is the best place to do it. That is the only place we'll review them, and that's the only place the panelists will be able to score and make those recommendations. And so you'll have the link, the information, and please reach out if you have any other questions. How will the artworks be selected? The selection process is completed through a panel. We'll utilize a 5-person panel composed of arts representatives, community representatives, and Houston Airport's representatives who will be reviewing all of the artwork submissions and recommending a number of artworks for purchase. The recommendations will fall within the budget criteria, and so we have that $215,000 total budget for this location and this opportunity, and so they will just select the maximum number of artworks that will fall within that budget range. And so they'll be scoring the artworks based on questions considering artistic quality. Does it have a unique voice or perspective? Or inspiration? Is it demonstrative of an aesthetic, material, and subject matter suitable for public display to a diverse and international audience in that airport context? And then is it a contribution of new artistic voices and perspectives to the City of Houston art collection? I'll add a note here for additional context that any artworks and artists who do have artwork within the City of Houston Civic Art Collection is tagged in our system, and we notate that they do and are a part of the collection, and so panelists will have that information. It's not an eligibility thing, it's just additional context so the panelists know and we know that you do currently have artwork in the collection. The artwork will be acquired via a contract with Houston Arts Alliance. So the process is in 1999, the Houston Civic Art was a Mayor's Office of the Arts, previously MOCA, and program that contracts with Houston Arts Alliance, us, to manage the projects. Selected artists or galleries will enter into a purchase agreement with HAA. We will also ask that you sign a VERA waiver, a Visual Artists' Rights Act waiver with the City of Houston, and you can see a sample of that waiver on our website. Artists who elect not to sign this will not be moving forward with that purchase. Project timeline, we are hoping to have these acquisitions completed by the end of this year. And so we are in currently the info session opportunity phase. And so we have our info session today, and then we have another one next week at 6 o'clock. Our deadline for questions, if you have any questions to submit them to our team, that deadline is Friday, May 22nd, and that gives us enough time to answer them and share those answers publicly. And then the submission deadline is Monday, June 1st, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Please, I really encourage you all to submit early. Don't wait. Don't do it at 11:58. As you know, your computer might crash, the internet goes down, any number of things can go wrong. And so applications submitted after that deadline will not be accepted or considered. And so we really, really want you to please try and submit early, just to make sure that everything you want to submit is able to be submitted and considered. We'll go into our panel process in July, which will give the panelists plenty of time to review and score these submissions. And then we hope to issue notifications to artists and galleries in August of 2026. From that point, we'll go into releasing those purchase agreements and coordinating delivery. We're anticipating that timeline to be happening in September. Of course, this is a space that's under construction, so those timelines may change, but that's what we're projecting out currently. All right, I'm almost done. If you have any questions, you can please direct them to civicart@haatx.com. That's going to be the best place for your questions. You'll get a quick response, and we will be receiving them We do ask that you submit them before Friday, May 22nd, so that we have plenty of time to review and respond and give you enough time to complete your submissions ahead of time. They will be reviewed and answered within 1 to 2 business days. And that's it. The best place to learn more about these opportunities is to sign up for our newsletter. So there's a QR code on the left that will take you there, or to stay in touch with us and learn about all of the opportunities, programs, and future artwork opportunities as well via our Facebook or Instagram pages. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see all of you, and we will jump into questions. I want to pause and give Alton a chance if there's anything I missed or any additional information you'd like to share.
I have a few notes, Allison, as you knew I would, but could you go back to the slide about the dates, the schedule of things and when things would be expected, and because I may have some information on that to share now. I think we're going to make all those dates is basically what I'm thinking. I doubt there's going to be a delay.
I'm expecting that as well. Here we go.
So artwork delivery September 2026. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we will be able to meet that. Those vitrines are already those areas are already installed. The glass doors went in this week. We are going to do a little more modification inside of those. Someone I hear someone, so we ask everyone please mute. There we go. We're going to do a little more work inside those vitrines, including adding picture hanging rails, and we're going to have some time. And I saw someone had a question. We are going to install some kind of lighting inside of there. There is ambient lighting in that area. So thank you for sharing that, Allison. And then I wanted to reiterate or re-stress some of the things that you said, Allison. One of the things is to make sure the artwork is installation ready when it's delivered to us, because there is such a volume of work that we manage and maintain, as well as such a volume of work that we hope to purchase in this. We are unable to address each piece individually, having it framed, having the right type of glazing put on it, etc. So it's really important that artists factor that in. If your piece is not framed, go to a framer now, ask how much it's going to cost, add that to your price so you will be able to deliver it to us fully framed and ready to go. And again, we are primarily looking for this area, but it's not to say that your artwork won't hang in another area within the airport. So it benefits you as an artist to have your work as durable as possible. We do everything we can to protect our artwork at the airport, but it is an active, busy environment with lots and lots of passengers and lots of other factors that can damage artwork. So anything you can do to protect your artwork, it should be done. On the 3D work, I think, Allison, you gave the dimension that these cases have a depth of 24 inches. Width-wise, it could be long and shallow. As a sculpture, the sculpture, of course, doesn't have to be behind glass because we're going to put it behind glass. And if your sculpture, we buy a sculpture from you and it ends up not going in this case, we do have other vitrines that will be in this area. And I think the interior space on those is 30 inches by 30 inches. So keeping this 24-inch guideline in mind is probably a pretty good measure of thumb in general so that we don't get bigger than that. The other thing I wanted to say, Allison mentioned submittables. Don't wait till the last minute, please, please, please. And I know y'all are all going to be tempted to email me or call me or ask me when you see me out at a gallery a question about this. But for continuity, we ask that you do it all through Houston Arts Alliance, all through submittables, so that we're giving everyone the same answer, so that everyone has it's kind of an equal playing field for everyone to be selected. And then one more thing I wanted to say, Allison, and then we'll open it up to general questions, talking about the process. I get asked this question a lot. So in this particular case, we have $215,000, and that money goes into, let's say, a bucket. All the art submissions are scored by our panel of experts. The highest scored piece is purchased, and then we subtract that amount from the bucket. And then we go down to the next piece and buy the next piece that was the next highest scored piece and subtract that amount from the bucket. And we do that until the bucket is empty. it is possible that one piece is submitted that's $215,000 and scores the very highest, and we buy one piece of art, although that's very unlikely. But it is possible that that happens. So just wanted to explain that because people ask that a lot, like how many pieces do you buy? Well, we want to buy as many as we can, but we do have a limited budget, which is the $215,000. Thank you, Allison, for all those details, and I'll be curious to hear everyone else's questions as well.
So I will share my screen again just so that I can see you all
I
and
can
bring
read
it back
off
to
a few that have kind of come up just so Alton and Allison can kind of speak to them right now.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Let's go ahead and get started.
there's a few questions about power, Alton. Is there power access in those enclosures for people that might be submitting neon or any other type of artwork that may be requiring power?
Yes, each case has its own outlet built into it.
Can you talk about the completion date? Because there's several questions about artwork that needs to be completed by December 31st, 2025.
Yeah. Alton, I know you mentioned this, but for continuity and for um, transparency, consistency with our panelists, we really do ask that artworks are framed, ready to go, ready for installation when they are submitted. And so to ensure that that's happening, we did put that cutoff date as December 31st, 2025, so that all of the artwork is completed. It's not in progress. It's not requiring additional framing or additional
That makes sense.
details to
Yeah,
install it. That is the cutoff. We do ask that if you do have, if your artwork is just January 31st, 2026, it will not be accepted for submission.
and
Or it
that's an
will be
arbitrary
marked
date, just so
eligible.
you have, that's an arbitrary date, just so you have a deadline. What we want is ready, work that's ready to go, right? Is that what you're saying, Allison?
I mean, it's not really, that is the deadline. That's the cutoff of eligible artworks.
Okay.
Just so that it's consistent across the board and panelists aren't looking at artwork that was completed last year but still needs to be framed. All of the artwork needs to be framed and ready or ready for display. And so for that reason, it is December 31st, 2025.
And then I guess a follow-up question, because there's a few kind of questions in the chat about it. Alton kind of spoke to it when it comes to framing or plinths that need to be made. If it's a small sculpture, can that be made after that deadline? Or do they need to supply plinths or anything else to kind of bring artwork up to eye level?
Alton, I will let you respond to this question. It is clear that we do want any of those artworks to come to us with that information included in your submission if it does require a pedestal, a plinth, a shelf, any sort of other display requirement and accessory. Please note that. But also, would you like the plinths or would you like them to just note that in their submission?
I would definitely like it to be noted. I would say if it's a very specific style of plinth or platform that this needs to be mounted to exhibit it properly, then it needs to be included. Otherwise, we do some of that, as we're displaying them, depending on where it's going and what it's going adjacent to, whatever height that is. We do fabricate plinths and interior pedestals for things. But if it's something specific that your piece needs, by all means, make sure you're submitting it. And then if you have any requests about, any specific requests, that should be submitted as well.
I'll also add if it's something that needs to be suspended, if it's a sculpture that hangs from the ceiling, please notate that in your submission of that's how it needs to be installed and displayed.
Yes.
That is kind of the information we are looking for so panelists can assess accurately.
And I added this to the chat, but if it has framing, I know we talked about including that framing in the image and making sure that's part of the dimensions, just so panelists and everyone else can kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's right. We want the frame dimensions of the artwork. You can include both the actual artwork dimensions and the frame dimensions, but we do want those full dimensions so that we can accurately understand how the artwork will be placed.
And then there's a question to talk about the subject of the art kind of broadly again. We talked about Space City, but since these portable artworks are going to could be moved to different locations. Alton, do you want to do? I know you said Houston specific.
Yes, so the entire theme of the Southwest expansion, as well as the entire theme of the Bush Intercontinental expansion, is Houston. Space City, Bayou City. Think of those things. What we try to do with the art program is differentiate when you land at Houston that you are in Houston. We serve about over 60 million passengers per year. And fully half of those passengers are connecting passengers, which means they never leave our airport. So their only opportunity to experience what is Houston, what is Texas, what is our arts and culture scene is what they see at the airport. So that's why we stress this. We want our passengers to feel welcomed, and we want them to feel like they've landed in Houston, Texas. Now, that doesn't mean it all needs to be cowboys and astronauts, as we know that Houston has a very wide-ranging cultural background and makeup. So just keep those things as a guiding inspiration of the theme of sense of place.
Pull up a couple of additional images that might help understand the context of the space and that inspiration of Space City and Houston broadly. If you all can see this, this is also available on the website, but you'll be able to see the placement of the vitrines, and off to the right here, these are those baggage claim carousels. And so people will be walking down this corridor. They'll see the artwork vitrines here on the left, and then onto the exits, the baggage claim, or re-entering as they continue on their journeys. I'll also scroll down. You've seen this image. This is just another context. Here's some finishing around that space. So what those details will look like. And there will be this kind of space celestial inspired feature wall in that baggage claim area, as well as sort of this celestial inspired canopy on the exterior. So as people are exiting, this is what they'll be seeing overhead. And so that is where that Space City kind of design inspiration came from. But we do, as Alton mentioned, that sense of place. Houston, Space City, Bayou City, those themes are what we're broadly looking for.
There's a few more questions I'll ask so you all can answer. There's one about a wrapped canvas. Does that need to be framed?
Canvases don't need to be framed, but they do need to be coated with a graffiti protective coating so that if they are, as this call is for those behind the glass, but as Alton mentioned, these can and may move around in the future. And so we want them to be suitable for public display in a variety of situations.
Yes, Allison, they really need some kind of coating on it, protective coating, a varnish of some kind. And in particular, you know your work as an artist. Is your work sensitive? Is it fragile? Is it encaustic painting? If so, that needs to be under glass because it will be damaged in the airport. Is it super textured that, has the potential of kids are going to pick at it? Like all these things, assume that this is going to be left in an open space unattended with millions of people around it, because that's what it's going to be. So if it is oil paint on canvas with a varnish, with a lacquer on it, with a protective coating, it doesn't need to be framed. But anything that's sensitive, anything that's collage, anything that has, that is sensitive must be put under protective glazing.
I see Carla's question is, are both acrylic glazing and glass allowable on framed work? Does that answer the question, Carla, or do you need clarification?
Glass is not allowed. I can answer that question.
Okay.
It needs to be shatterproof, preferably optimum acrylic, museum quality optimum acrylic. Because why? It's shatterproof, it's glare proof, and it has a built-in UV protection that's going to protect your artwork long term over time.
Thank you. Any other questions?
There's a few. I see one that came in a little while ago. It's asking, so surreal looking work would be acceptable? I would say yes.
Yes. Yeah. If your artwork is inspired by Houston, reflective of Texas themes, Houston themes, yes, we understand that sometimes those themes may be addressed via abstract, expression, yes.
And then one of the latest ones, is there any interest in highlighting the cultural diversity of people in Houston, i.e. Asian or African art?
Yes, of course. Anything addressing the experience and cultural expression of Houston, whatever that means to you and how it's reflected in your art practice, is welcome for this submission. Any other questions?
Someone if artwork can be suspended within the tree. Did we answer that one?
I don't want to say no. I think that if there's, sorry, if you all couldn't hear, the question was, can the artwork be suspended? I think yes, as long as it's not requiring a intense level of support. It needs to be reasonably able to be suspended, not requiring, a major support beam or something like that. So under, I would say, a 30-pound weight limit or so. And detail in your submission, if it is suspended, how exactly that suspension installation looks like, so that the installers understand how to go about hanging that artwork.
Allison, do you mind pulling up the slide that talks about DPI and the amount of submissions someone can put through on submittable? Because there's quite a few questions about how many submissions are acceptable, and then imagery.
Can you all see the screen? Yes. Okay. Let me For application requirements, so we ask that each submission is one artwork. It can be no larger than 2 megabytes and a video no longer than 30 seconds. For DPI, I don't know if 72 is an accurate way to view the artwork and it gives the panelists enough information to view it on a screen. I think that's fine. It doesn't have to be high quality print ready, but no larger than 2 megabytes. So I understand if it's a smaller DPI, I think that's fine. We asked for them in JPEG format only, so no other sort of image files, no like PNGs or PDFs or something like that. We do want them to be a JPEG, and then that video file can be an MP3. It'll tell you on submittable exactly what kinds of file formats are allowed. What were the other questions? I'm sorry.
How many submissions are allowed?
We ask, I think, a maximum of 3 submissions per artist and gallery per artist artwork gallery.
Submittable says 3 artworks per artist. Each entry is 1 artwork.
Yes. So you can submit up to 3 times 3 different artworks. But please don't submit the same artwork 3 times because we will mark the other 2 ineligible.
And we will only buy 1 piece of art per artist, most likely. I mean, to spread the love as far as possible. So submit your best one. Right, Allison? I see you smiling.
Yeah. It's really up to the panelists of how they want to go about scoring and reflecting those artwork recommendations to the city. But yes, typically we are looking for a variety of artworks to address the themes as we've stated. And so I was trying to find the slide that might reference that. Yeah, contribution of new artistic voices and perspectives. Generally, we encourage panelists to understand that as a broad selection. Any other questions?
Does the video showing the piece in the round count as a submission? It counts as an image.
It'll count as one of your 3 images. So yes, we do allow you to submit a 30-second video. That way we can give the panelists the full sense of the artwork. I know sometimes 2-dimensional isn't quite enough and sufficient to really give that level of detail. And so 1 video per artwork, no longer than 30 seconds can be accepted.
I wondered about minimum size, just if there was one.
Don't think there's a minimum size. So if you have smaller artworks, they are going to be exhibited in a public space. And
Right.
so large audiences, people aren't going to be necessarily viewing these super up close. And so think about scale, placement, context as you're submitting, but I don't think we have a minimum size.
Thank you.
No, and currently in the collection, we have art that's like 1 inch up to, 100 feet tall. So, or even longer. We have 300 feet long pieces. So we have tiny jewelry sculptures that are 1 inch in the collection. So yeah, no minimum.
Did I understand this correctly? So each artist can submit potentially up to 9 pieces of work because it's 9, you get 3 submissions and 3 pieces each submission.
No, we asked for 3 submissions total for each artist, so 3 different artworks, but no more than that. Any additional artworks beyond the third submitted, as it reflects, the submissions are time-stamped, and so any additional beyond the 3 will be marked ineligible. So you can submit 3 artworks and 3 images per artwork, but no more than that.
Thank you.
They are wondering if they require any specific hardware for hanging. I don't believe so. It's just as long as it's rated and tested, will support your artwork.
That's right. So the question was, is there any specific hardware required for the artwork? Alton, I saw you come off mute. Is there?
Yeah, D-rings are preferred. No wires. We don't hang with wires. And or if it needs a cleat, then you need to provide the cleat. And if it goes outside of the case, it'll get locking hardware, which the airport provides to secure, anchor it to the wall. But D-rings are preferred. No wires, please. And no sawtooths, of course.
Yeah, professional installation ready hardware, please.
So you mentioned including the frame. So like for this kind of thing, I would go and reframe with professional frames rather than what I use in my studio, honestly, so that the plexi, and I do a lot of watercolor, and you don't usually take the photograph in the frame because of the glare.
I understand.
Glass.
I think I'm understanding your question. So your artwork would come out of the frame to be photographed for submission and then go back in the frame.
Well, normally when I submit to shows, there's no frame in the submission. And unless occasionally I get them very professionally taken, which I probably would do for this, you have to have it out or you're going to get glare on the piece. There's no way.
I understand the question. I would recommend in that instance then submitting 1 image out of your 3 images that shows the artwork in the frame,
Okay.
and then utilizing either the video or the other 2 images to show more details of that
That
artwork.
makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? I know there's a lot in the chat I see, so if we've missed any, feel free to jump in.
There's a question about how many artists from one gallery.
There's no limit of artists from any one gallery. We just ask that galleries don't submit multiple artists on the same submission. Each artist and each submission is its own unique thing so that the panelists are able to see and score each individual artwork. The 3 artworks per artist still applies for galleries. So galleries, please don't be submitting 5 artworks from one artist. It's still 3, but if you have a broad and a large amount of Texas-based artists that you are representing, I think that we do welcome those. It's just however many submissions, if you want to do, I can't do the math, but if you have 5 artists, 3 submissions each, 30 artworks, that's a lot of submissions. So however you'd like to go with it.
There is a question about a sculpture. Hold on, it just got away from me. A sculptural piece which consists of 32 smaller pieces that are screwed into the wall. Asking if that could be submitted.
I'm understanding that of a sort of installation sculptural wall-mounted piece that can be submitted, yes. Just please notate that all of the elements are individually installed and what that installation method would be.
And note that that's one piece. And I saw someone said, is a triptych one piece or three pieces? A triptych is one piece similarly.
And in the submission platform, I'll note this, there is a section, kind of a free response of any additional information that the panelists need to know when they're evaluating your artwork. So, this isn't the space for you to say like, I'm really excited about this, but please, if it's individual elements or any additional context, especially around installation details, that is the space for you to write that in.
I think because we just got a question about installation, it might be good to talk maybe for a minute or two about just having the artwork installation ready. And I know the artists wouldn't be installing these pieces themselves.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. So we will be consolidating all of these artworks at a central location that will be provided to the selected artists and artworks upon those notifications going out. And what that means is artists will not be installing their artwork. You'll be sending us all of your installation hardware and information, installation instructions and maintenance instructions along with those purchase agreements. But they will be delivered to a professional art handler, and from there they will be professionally installed. And so you don't have to worry about installation, but we do ask that you provide that information to the panelists and then on to the airport so that they know and understand how to go about that procedure. Are there any other questions?
I'm going through the list. If anybody wants to call theirs out, they're more than welcome to.
I see two here at the end. What is the maximum creation date? And if you can submit new pieces, those kind of tie together. So the most recent artwork we're accepting is from December 31st, 2025. So any artwork essentially created within this year, unfortunately, is not eligible for this opportunity. But we encourage you, please sign up for our newsletter, follow us on social media. There's plenty of opportunities. We release them as they come. And so that'll be the best place to learn more about them in the future. This call is specifically about seeking submissions of existing artwork. The frame dimensions, 24 by 40, those are guidelines to keep the spaces and available artwork space for this opportunity to accept multiple artworks and accommodate multiple artworks. And so we really do want these pieces to be able to be handled, delivered, accepted. They're not site specific, and so there are some guidelines around space dimensions.
Would a triptych count as one submission or three?
One submission, one artwork. I see some questions about artworks on panel can be submitted unframed. Yes, artworks on panel can be unframed, but they would need to be coated in a anti-graffiti coating, some sort of protective surface layer, so that if they are, even though they'd be behind glass in this particular context, if they're moved around in the future, they would be protected from any public interaction in that other future settings. Another question, if you are in the City of Houston collection, you are not automatically disqualified. No. We do ask and notify panelists of the artworks that are within the city's collection, but we understand that sometimes artworks might be located or of a different scale, different subject matter, different interpretation. And so we just notate that, but it's not an automatic disqualification for this opportunity.
Does the panel see the names of the artists, or is it a blind like assessment?
Panelists will see the names of the artists, and you'll see when you input your submission, it'll ask you for your artist name, artwork title, date, price, dimensions, material, all of that information for an accurate understanding of the artwork and who you are as your practice. Will submit a CV, a bio, and an artist statement as well, which gives additional context about your practice and the inspiration for the artwork you're submitting. I see the question again about the earliest creation date. There is no earliest creation date. It can be from, your lifetime, whatever that looks like. So as long as you've been creating artwork, you can submit. It does have to be an artwork from you, an artist, or a Texas-based artist, if it's a gallery representing an artist. Okay. We are getting close to the end, so I'm going to just bring up the contact slide again so that you all can see the best place to direct any future questions.
Good question. Is it okay to get the work reframed if selected? Provide a higher quality frame.
Okay, we did receive a question about framing. If it is selected, if the artwork could be reframed after it's selected for a higher quality frame. I would caution against that because it could put you in a position where your purchase price is different from the purchase price with framing, and we really ask that artwork is installation ready. For that reason, no additional budget or purchase price will be made available after the fact of selection, and so framing costs can vary wildly, especially if you're upgrading a frame, and so please be mindful of that. There will not be additional budget considerations for framing after the fact. So we do ask framed, completed artwork before December 31st. For that reason, it really protects you and your budgets and your bottom lines as much as the project.
But if I wanted to reframe because the things I have now are not in those kind of frames that I would give you. And they were produced before then. So would it be suitable to take it and get the price and put that in the submission? Or do I have to have the photo in that? Because I don't mind doing that, but it actually the framing wouldn't have been completed before December 31st. That way the piece definitely was.
We do ask that the artwork is installation ready upon submission. And so, if I were to come to your studio tomorrow to pick it up to install, is it ready? And if it's not, then the panelists would take that into consideration during the process.
Okay. Just because at the moment I'm using store-bought frames and they are not of the quality I would use to put in there.
I would encourage the panelists to review that. They're not going to necessarily know where your frame is from, but we do ask that the installations and artwork submitted are of professional quality. But I would just submit what you have, and store-bought frames aren't always low quality. Framing is expensive, and so
yes. I could upgrade the store-bought frame easily. That wouldn't be, it wouldn't take as long as I could do that myself.
We do ask, I will say, panelists will be considering materials, archival materials, lifespan, and so they will be taking all of those context and elements into consideration. And as Alton mentioned, no glass, and we want them to be non-glare if possible, so that people are able to view them through and in whatever situations they may be. And if you have additional questions about framing and submissions, feel free to reach out to us. Our team is here to help you. I don't want to kind of get too specific because this is a broad setting and a lot of different questions, but as y'all do have questions as you go through the submission process, please reach out, give us an email. We'll be able to kind of better help you from there.
Okay, thank you.
And so I'll stop sharing. I want to thank you all for joining today. I hope this was really helpful. There is a lot of opportunity here. We're really excited to see all of these submissions come in. Thank you all for taking the time to listen as I talked for a long time, and I hope that you all got a little bit more information that will help you in your submissions. And I wish you all luck and excited to see these come in.